UFC Fight Night 119 Machida vs. Brunson was everything that it was expected to be, and you can read all the results and details below. Derek Brunson Dragon Slayer. The left hand of Derek Brunson silenced the raucous crowd inside Ginásio do Ibirapuera to close out the action in São Paulo, Brazil on Saturday night, spoiling Lyoto Machida's return to action and stamping himself as a fighter to watch in the middleweight division. After 2 minutes of feeling each other out and trying to find the elusive former light heavyweight champion, Brunson put a left hand on Machida's chin that took the Brazilian veteran's legs out from underneath him. As the Dragon tried to recover, Brunson pounced, forcing him to the ground and finishing him with pinpoint coffin nails on the canvas. Moore, who tops the pound-for-pound list for the month of October. While not the biggest name in the division, Brunson has been a consistent force in the lower half of the top 15 for the last couple years and merits a look against the more established names in the division after this one. Brunson is 93 in the octagon, and his losses have come against Yoel Romero, interim champ Robert Whittaker, and a questionable decision opposite former champ Anderson Silva earlier this year. He's now picked up 2 straight stoppage wins since that bummer in Brooklyn back in February, and a matchup with Luke Rockhold, whom he called out after the bout, makes all kinds of sense. Colby Covington backs up his words. Colby Covington backed up his big talk, rebounding from a sluggish first round to leave Damian Maia exhausted and covered in blood at the close of Saturday's co-main event. From the time this fight was announced, the brash American top team representative talked about retiring the recent title challenger, and while Maia isn't likely to hang up the gloves quite yet, he did land on the wrong side of what turned into a one-sided fight. After starting quick and opening a cut over Covington's right eye, Maia faded even quicker, and that's when chaos went on the offensive. I questioned whether Covington had the skills to back up all his talk. He called out Maia, walked into his hometown and put it on him. I tip my cap to him. Following the bout, Covington went full heel, calling São Paulo and all of Brazil really a dump before turning his attention to welterweight champ Tyron Woodley, and you know what, I want to see it. Colby Covington getting pelted with garbage as he runs out of the arena after cutting a heel promo on the whole country of Brazil feels just about right. UFC São Paulo, Patrick Wyman at Patrick Wyman, October 29, 2017. I know the UFC has said the winner of the upcoming bout between Robbie Lawler and Rafael dos Anjos gets the next title shot, but maybe Covington can be plan B in case the victor gets hurt and can't make the timeline the organization is looking at. Because Covington is clearly game, Woodley would likely be down to shut him up, and that fight would have a ton of heat. I hate myself for advocating for it, but you've got to go with the times, and right now, grudge matches and rivalries are where it's at in the UFC. Odds, ends and observations. Now that he's rattled off 4 straight wins and developed a signature finishing move, a nasty guillotine choke, can we please get Pedro Munhoz in the bantamweight top 10 and match him up with an elite opponent again, now training out of American top team? The 31-year-old has only lost twice in his career, both times to top 5 competitors, but he's looked terrific lately and deserves another chance to break into the upper echelon. The UFC needs to follow the Francisco Trinaldo blueprint a little more frequently. Massaranduba has 16 UFC appearances, and 13 of them have come in his native Brazil, where he's a massive star. It's harder to do with so many fights taking place in Las Vegas and various other U.S. outposts, but having local competitors on the card and building regional stars is how you start elevating talent to new levels of popularity. Thiago Santos remains a terrifying specimen on the fringes of contention in the middleweight division. The former paratrooper picked up his 3rd consecutive stoppage victory on Saturday night, drowning Jack Hermansson under a swarm of powerful shots just before the horn at the end of the first round. He lost his last fight with a top 10 talent, but the time has come to try again. Welcome back, John Lineker. I've missed your vicious body shots, you tiny Brazilian Wolverine. More the latest news from the world of MMA. Outstanding performance from Vicente Luque, who stepped up on short notice and scored a second-round submission win over the previously unbeaten Nico Price. After having his 4-fight winning streak snapped in March, this is a great bounce-back win for the 25-year-old, who has collected a finish in all 5 of his UFC wins thus far. Antonio Carlos Jr. has proven that he is too good for the middle class of the middleweight division. The Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world champion ran his winning streak to 4 with a first-round submission win over Jack Marshman and is in dire need of a step up in competition next time out. My pick, Timboch, a quality veteran with the size and strength to match up well with Shoeface. Jared Gordon spoiled Hakron Diaz' debut at lightweight, suffocating the hometown favorite to collect a unanimous decision victory. Unfortunately, this fight will be remembered for horrible officiating by referee Fernando Portela, who refused to stop the bout during a lopsided second frame and thought about waving it off in the third, only to change his mind after making contact with Gordon. Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos and Max Griffin delivered a slobber knocker to kick off the televised prelims, with the Brazilian picking up a unanimous decision win. The fact that it went the distance is a testament to Griffin's force of will and bad refereeing and cornering, because he was on roller skates for the final 90 seconds of the opening round, yet managed to win the second and stay in it until the final horn. Davison Figueiredo and Jared Brooks are both solid additions to the flyweight division, guys who could develop into top 10 stalwarts in the future. The former won the Battle of Unbeaten Fighters on Saturday night, edging the latter on the cards in an entertaining scrap. Marcelo Gomes kicked off the action in Sao Paulo with the kind of performance you would expect from an unbeaten hometown newcomer, squaring off with a 37-year-old who looks like a science teacher with tattoos. The local favorite mauled Christian Colombo in just over 2 minutes, forcing him to tap to a rear naked choke to secure a victory in his promotional debut. Facts and figures: attendance 10,265, sold out gate not reported. Fight of the night: Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos vs. Max Griffin. Performance bonuses: Derek Brunson, Pedro Munhoz.